Hi friends, it's Yana here today, and today we're going to be sewing up the Store and Go Crossbody bag. I'm excited about this bag because the possibilities of what to store in it are endless. Such things as a yoga mat, you can store all your Christmas wrapping papers, which is something I'm thinking of doing because I love to use my Christmas leftover Christmas wrapping paper to use for like when I'm hacking patterns and stuff like that. So I want to make one that has like a Christmas pattern or something like that and just be able to store them on there anyway. But so many other ways, so many other things to store in there, your tripods, all kinds of things. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and let's sew it up. I'm excited. All right, let's get started with this project. I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be cute and quick. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my mesh panel and I'm gonna grab my contrast pieces, the top and the bottom, and I'm gonna place them right sides together at the top, and then the bottom at the bottom. And you can do one at a time, but I'm gonna go ahead and do both and place them right sides together and sew. I am going to sew on my sewing machine first, and then I'm going to go over to my serger and serge the edge. You can serge or zigzag stitch, however you want to go ahead and finish that look right there. Then if you want to, you can flip it up and top stitch it. I think I might do that. Go ahead and, since I'll be on my sewing machine, go ahead and top stitch that down. I think that would be cute. I'm figuring this out as I go, how to work with this mesh. I've never really worked with it. So I did the one upside down. I'm doing this one this way to see which way it sews better. And I've noticed that I think this way sews better with the mesh at the top and the fabric at the bottom. So it has less chance of it getting stuck in my, like my little area. Can't remember the name. Now I'm gonna top stitch by flipping the seam allowance up and top stitching it down here. All right, now we're gonna grab this side panel and we're gonna grab our front panel and we're gonna face them right sides together and sew them together. Let me fix it this way so that way you can really see it. We're gonna place it right sides together here and we're going to sew them together. And we're going to do the same on the other side, but I don't know if it's easier just to do one side at a time, because then we're going to open them up and trim some of this mesh and then top stitch it to the seam, so that way it has a nice finish. It's going to kind of fold over, so it's kind of trapped in there. So I think I might just go ahead and do both at the same time, just because that's what I like to do. But if you find that it might be easier for you to do one at a time, then I would go ahead and go sew that one side and then come back and sew the other side. But we're just sewing these sides together. Remember that you're going to be sewing this at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You need that 1/2 inch allowance to do the next step. Now that we have finished top stitching, we're going to open this seam here. Open this seam allowance and we're going to trim the mesh seam, the side of the mesh seam allowance, a 1/4 inch. Careful you don't cut anything else. All right, now the next step, we need some pins, I think, and then we also need to use, depending on what fabric you have, you might be able to steam, but I don't have, this fabric is delicate. It's an outdoor fabric that might burn. So you could either use like a cloth on top of it, or I have this little roller and we're going to fold, put the mesh towards the inside. And then we're going to fold over this seam allowance here so we can trap the mesh in the seam allowance. All right, I'm gonna head over and top stitch that and do the same on the other side. So I know the correct way to top stitch will be to go from the top, but it makes it easier if I just go from the bottom. So that's what I'm doing. This way I can make sure that my allowance is tucked in and not coming out. Or you can actually do it this way and do a basting stitch first and then turn it around and actually do the top stitching from the front. All right, so now that it's done, we're gonna put this away and we're gonna start our pocket. I'm gonna grab my pocket piece and I'm going to transfer this marking to my pattern piece. And I'm going to actually cut this out for easy transferring. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark it on the wrong side of my fabric. And see how you have this little piece right here? It's actually a little triangle here. You can use this to kind of trace it out or just kind of mark it and go at it. And then there's a line that goes right down the middle. Now I'm gonna place my pattern pieces right sides together and I'm gonna sew around the triangle. Now we're gonna grab our scissors and cut around the triangle and down the line, making sure not to cut your thread right here. So we stop here at the corner of the triangle and we go sideways as close to the thread as we can without actually cutting the thread. Now we're gonna go ahead and fit it in. Turn it right side out. Now, if you have like these corners are bunching up here, that means you probably didn't trim enough. So you may want to go turn around and trim it a little bit more so that it sits nice and flat. Then you're gonna give it a good steam. All right, now we've got our zipper here and I'm going to place my pocket right on top of my zipper. And we're gonna sew it on. So I wanna make sure that it's even on here. And I'm gonna pin it. You can use some hem tape if you want for this step. That sometimes comes in really, really helpful. I'm not really worried about this extra tape of the zipper because I'm gonna sew around the edge and close that zipper in so then I can trim this after. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and sew around the zipper to attach it. All right, now that's finished. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this here so it doesn't bother me when I'm doing my next step. Now I'm going to fold in those edges 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to use my pattern piece as a guide for where I'm going to place my pocket. Make sure it's even on both sides. I'm going to measure out 1.5 inches this way, 1.5 inches this way. So that should be even. And I'm going to top stitch it on. After I'm done top stitching, I'm going to go ahead and finish the top raw edge of my bag as well on my serger, or you can do it with a zigzag stitch as well. All right, now we're gonna grab this edge and we're gonna turn it down 1.5 inches over. And that way we're gonna mark where our grommet is gonna go. So we can like put a little pin here, marking where our grommet is gonna go, or because it's already folded in half, you can see it there. And then we're gonna turn it around and place our grommet in our grommet area. So it's gonna be right there on mine. I like to do a grommet by kind of putting it in the middle where it's gonna go. I have a bigger grommet, but that's what I'm using. I'm just gonna like squish it like that, and you can see my mark is on there. Then I'm gonna grab scissors, cut around. So make sure it's in the middle. I'm pretty sure it's right in the middle. It's like 1.5 this way, 1.5, yep. And then I'm gonna kind of open that little gap area where my hole is gonna be. Now, I'm not gonna make it quite as big as the mark that I made, but somewhat close to that so I can fit it through there. Do a better job than I did at cutting that circle. I think I shredded it. So then I'm gonna fit my grommet through that hole. You know what? I didn't even put in interfacing. You want to put a little bit of interfacing on the other side so it doesn't want to rip out on you. So here's my grommet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little tool and place my grommet right on top. I have just a little handheld one, and then I'm going to smack it with a hammer if I can find my hammer. Well, I need to do this somewhere else because I can't really do it on my table. I don't want to hit it too hard. So I'm going to go do that somewhere else so that my grommet gets installed. All right, my grommet has been done and it's not sewn down yet. It's just laying on there right now. And I burned my edges of my webbing. I just using webbing right here. And on the little one, we're gonna pull it through our D-ring and have that ready. And we're gonna place it, we're gonna use our guide, see how it is right here. And we're gonna place them where our guide tells us to place it. Here's, hold on, pull that out so it's where it's supposed to be. And webbing strap is at the bottom. I'm gonna place that there. And then the webbing, the other webbing strap placement right here. So we're gonna put another one of them here. We're gonna end up sewing this over. So I clipped it, but I also wanna go ahead and I'm gonna pin it here closer to the inside. So that way when I remove the clip, the strap stays where it's supposed to be when I'm sewing it together. Kind of helps to keep it steady. Now I'm gonna bring the bag, the other side of the bag. I'm gonna fold it over. This one wants to turn. I don't want you to turn. I'm gonna put another pin here to keep it straight. And we're going to match it right sides together here at the edge. And we're gonna sew it. When you're sewing over the strap area, go over it a couple times back and forth so you can really catch that strap. And then after that, you can trim the strap down a little bit and finish this raw edge with a zigzag stitch or with your serger. I'll be doing my serger, however you want to finish it off. Let's go sew that. All right, friends, we are getting to the end. It's looking good. I'm going to turn my bag right side out. And remove these pins. All right, and now I'm going to grab my sliders. I'm going to slide through. Okay, and then I'm going to slide through my D-ring. Then I'm coming right back through my slider and coming out. So it's kind of like sandwiched in there. Now, before you sew it together, make sure your strap is on correctly and it's not twisted. Then you're going to fold the strap onto itself. I'm going to fold it, pull it tighter and fold it and sew it over here on this side. So that when we sew this right here, you can still move it up and down to make it tighter, right? Tighter, or you can pull it down to make it looser. See that? So you're just sewing it to itself. It went through that opening there, but you're sewing it to itself right here. I'm gonna go over to the sewing machine and sew like a crisscross, a box, and then a crisscross on it. And then on the top side, where my grommet is, I'm gonna top stitch it all the way around to close that opening, because we'll insert the strap through here. I'm gonna have to be very, very careful when I sew through here because it's really close to the grommet. So we'll see how that goes. All right. This is finished and my strap is on and it looks good. And tighten it if I want to. It's crisscrossed on here. It's looking so pretty. This is looking adorable. I am like really obsessed with this, how it's turning out. I think it's gonna be super nice to put all kinds of things in. I also love that I could put like my patterns in here. I was thinking that I'm going to make a Christmas one and I can fit my ornaments in here. Maybe even use like a harder fabric and I could stack up my ornaments in here, like shell them up. And then also my wrapping paper in here to store away for later, for the rest of the season. I think I could also hack this to make it longer if I need it for like my patterns to be taller and like fit it in there. I think this is going to be super versatile and cute. Now I'm going to grab my strap. I just bought cording and I'm going to go right through here and go all the way around and come back out. I wish I would have bought a bigger stopper and I could have bigger cording because I have this huge grommet, but I think it'll be okay. All right, like I said, next time I make it, or you know, later, I might buy a bigger stopper because this one's really tiny, so I have to use really tiny cording. Or I might make my grommet a little bit smaller next time. Just use some tape to like even this out here so that way I can fit it through my little stopper. Oh my word, I can't get this thing through. There we go. It was like literally sitting right there, but it wouldn't come up. All right, there we go. Now I've got them. Yay, that looks so good. All right, now I just gotta do the bottom piece. So I'm gonna turn it inside out. I'm gonna grab my bottom and I'm just going to attach it on the round. Right sides together. After I'm done sewing it up with my sewing machine, I'm going to check it and make sure I cut all my edges, and then I am going to go finish this raw edge with my serger, or you can finish it with a zigzag stitch on your machine or however you want to.
All right, friends, we are finished. Look at how cute this turned out. I love this fabric. I love how it turned out. This is an outer type of fabric, so it's like waterproof fabric, which will be perfect to put in those sweaty mats. And it's got this mesh, so it's breathable, help to dry it out. It's got this pocket where I can like stash some stuff that I need to stash, like my phone or whatever, if that's all I want to take with me. I love the drawstring here for the opening. I just stuck a roll right here for now, but you know, whatever. This is a already used up roll of wrapping paper. And here's my strap, so it's easy to carry. I love that it's also adjustable, so I can make it longer if I need to or shorter if I need to. And yeah, I love this bag. I think it turned out adorable. Let me know what you think. It was super easy, super quick. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Comment below and let me know what you are going to be storing in your storage bag. And I hope you, oh yeah, subscribe. I'm trying to think, I was like, what am I saying next? Subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of our tutorials. Go grab the bag and come back and sew it with me. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.